Spero che non sia. Buongiorno a tutti, il mio nome è Lorenzo Trucco, sono il presidente dell'Associazione Studi Giuridici sull'immigrazione e do il benvenuto agli amici di Picum e a tutti coloro che sono qui presenti in relazione a questo seminario che fa parte di un progetto che Picum sta portando avanti da 2 anni, che riguarda, proprio si intitola Sviluppare strategie per migliorare la protezione dei minori senza documenti in Europa. Io credo che stiamo vivendo una grossa contraddizione tra, da un punto di vista soprattutto giuridico, tra una serie di convenzioni e di normative internazionali ed europee di alto livello che assicurano i principi fondamentali sui diritti dei minori, ma dall'altro lato ci troviamo a livello così degli Stati membri, a livello di effettività, ad una contraddizione rispetto a questi principi che non riescono in realtà a trovare un'effettiva applicazione o la trovano solo parziale. In questa contraddizione credo che si aggiunga una contraddizione tipicamente italiana, perché sappiamo tutti che per la normativa italiana, da un punto di vista generale, il minore non è espellibile, quindi ha diritto ad un permesso di soggiorno e quindi non è giuridicamente in condizione irregolare, ma in realtà può trovarsi in una serie di situazioni che impediscono l'accesso a quelli che sono i diritti fondamentali, o perché non ha materialmente i documenti, o in relazione alla condizione dei propri genitori che sono persone irregolari, o in relazione a situazioni molto particolari che riguardano ad esempio l'etnia rom, quindi persone che provengono, che sono figli, persone provenienti dai Balcani. Siamo ormai già arrivati alla 3ª generazione di persone che nascono in Italia, da persone che sono nate in Italia, il cui nonno è nato in Italia, ma che si trovano senza, di certo non la cittadinanza italiana, ma molto spesso senza documenti, quindi con implicazioni di ordine pratico molto, molto grosse. Quindi io credo che l'importanza di questo seminario, che cerca appunto di affrontare dal punto di vista pratico i 3 pilastri fondamentali, no? Che sono l'accesso all'istruzione, alla salute e all'alloggio. Io credo che questi siano veramente i 3 pilastri fondamentali, quindi il lavoro che dovrà fare questo seminario e siamo veramente contenti della presenza di Picum e di poter lavorare assieme. Io credo che il lavorare insieme per vedere nell'ambito di una normativa generale, ma bene vedere effettivamente che cosa succede nei vari paesi, in questo caso in Italia, in relazione ai minori, sia importantissimo, e l'elemento della conoscenza e del confronto io credo che sia decisivo e centrale. Io ripeto il mio benvenuto a tutti coloro che sono presenti e lascio la parola a Michelle, direttrice di Picum. Purtroppo poi dovrò assentarmi, ma non è una facile circostanza, è in redazione, sono avvocato e c'è un problema di persone che sono detenute in un centro e quindi mi allontano, ma ovviamente sono presente perlomeno in spirito rispetto ai temi. Grazie.
Grazie Lorenzo, buongiorno. My name is Michelle Lavoie. I will speak in English, and we apologize if not everyone has the headphones, but only myself and Sangeeta will speak in English today. The rest of the day will be in Italian. So I wanted to just welcome you on behalf of Picum. Picum is a European network which is based in Brussels. We're working for the human rights of undocumented migrants. We're very glad to be doing this workshop here with Asgi, and we thank Asgi for the collaboration and bringing us all together here. As Lorenzo mentioned, this is part of a European project. It's building on a former project that we did on undocumented children 3 years ago. We have the report only in English, unfortunately. unfortunately, at the entrance. But what we aim to do with this project now is to bring people together on the national level. This workshop in Italy is one of 7 that we're doing in different countries in Europe to bring together NGOs, local authorities, professionals, migrants, parents, volunteers, all concerned with this situation of undocumented children. And we hope today, in the plenary sessions and in the afternoon, to look at 3 issues in depth: education, housing, and healthcare, because these are some of the most pressing issues for these children and their parents and their families. We have always been inspired in Picum by the work of organizations such as Asgi and others in Italy, in what you have achieved in terms of successes in campaigning, especially on healthcare for undocumented. And so we are very glad to hear more about your experiences in that area, as well as these other areas. So we hope that the day can be very enriching for you, as well as for us, and we look forward to your discussions and your active participation. Now I would invite Sangeeta, who will also speak in English, but once again we will limit our interventions in English to only the 2 of us this morning.
Thank you, welcome, thanks again for coming. I have a presentation and this will be emailed to you all, so please don't worry if you don't take all the notes or you don't follow everything. Also, we only have 50 copies of the briefs, and I know a few of you are asking for more copies. This again is available on our website and should be emailed as well. So please don't worry. I will be talking about legal entitlements, not the situation in practice. So firstly, are undocumented children protected in international and European human rights law? The rights of all children are protected, regardless of immigration status. Italy has a legal obligation to follow the international legal instruments it has ratified, or formally consented to, or made valid. For example, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, the ICESCR, the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, and the European Convention on Human Rights. There are 2 fundamental legal principles crucial to protecting children's rights. That is non-discrimination, which is that human rights are applicable to everyone, regardless of factors such as their race, religion, sex, or immigration status. And the best interests of the child, which is that children's interests have to be considered first. Legal entitlement to education in international law and across Europe. Again, if we look at the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, the right of the child to education on the basis of equal opportunity. Looking across Europe, generally access to compulsory education is provided, but the situation is varied across Europe. No country explicitly denies access to education, although there are a few countries that limit the right to children residing regularly. Most countries refer to all or non-citizen children, which implicitly includes undocumented children, for example, France or the UK. And there are some countries that explicitly include undocumented children by saying something like all children regardless of immigration status, for example, Italy and Belgium. The legal entitlement to healthcare, again, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. I won't read the quote, I think it will take too long with our interpreters, but again, we have an entitlement in the convention itself. The situation in practice across Europe is again very varied. Usually children are granted the same access as adults, with no extra protection. And although no country explicitly denies emergency care, in a few countries we see that there are excessive costs attached to accessing this care, such as in Sweden, Ireland and Hungary. There are many countries that exclude undocumented children from national health insurance systems, but there's a specific provision for free urgent care, although this urgency is not defined. Okay, some interpret this widely to include most secondary care, such as Belgium or France, and a few countries grant equal access, such as Spain, Greece, Romania. Talking about legal entitlements to housing, again in international law, the access is enshrined in the Convention on the Rights of the Child. You see, the right of every child to a standard of living adequate for the child's physical, mental, spiritual, moral and social development. Also in the European Convention on Human Rights, prohibition on inhumane and degrading treatment and a right to private and family life, the home and correspondence. Across Europe, we see that the laws are similar, although there are no national laws. So undocumented are usually excluded from reception centres for asylum seekers and refugees and from homeless shelters, except in the Netherlands and Belgium, where the right to shelter in reception centres has been recognised. And there's been a positive use of the ECHR. For example, in the UK, it's been the basis for provisions being brought into national law, allowing temporary accommodation for undocumented families. Thank you for your attention. We'll keep this brief. I don't know if any of you use Twitter or Facebook, but we have a hashtag. We'd encourage you to use that. It's hashtag undocumented children, and also any posts on our Facebook page. And now if I could give the chair to Massimo, who will speak. We can swap through here. Who will speak more about the national legal protections in Italy. I think it's one.